come into the room. But we're here in our new studio doing a Beer Friday, Thursday. Beer Friday on Thursday.
Yep. Everybody
Cheers.
Get your drinks out. We got ours.
Get those cocktails mixed.
First time with our new backdrop.
Okay.
Although we did shoot one earlier today with this backdrop that will air next week. That'll be with Richard Munchkin.
Okay.
Are we on? Am I talking to anybody or nobody?
I think it's on, but we're not seeing anything on our end. Maybe the.
That's weird. I'm not seeing live either.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes. I just started now.
All right.
So start.
Okay, so hi and welcome to our Beer Friday on Thursday. So let me go ahead and make this, turn the volume off here and get some feedback. There we go. All right, hi everybody, welcome. We'll take a second to get everybody into the room. Scott B says, 4 o'clock, where are you guys? You're late, damn it. All right, Scott, took a second to, we're here.
We're just getting it going. We got the new set here. We got the new backdrop.
Yep.
Which was put together by Paula and Tanya.
Yes.
And also Taylor to some degree. What a terrific job I think they did.
Hey Dave, Dave's here.
Good.
Great to see you.
We're this is the first time with this set behind us, although we did shoot one earlier that's going to appear, it's going to air next week.
That's right, and we have a guest, Richard Munchkin.
Richard Munchkin for next week. Yeah, you're going to want to watch that one. That was a hell of an interview.
Yeah.
Some great stories and all. So here's to everybody. Get your drinks ready.
Cheers, guys.
We're going to answer a few questions, then we're going to have a guest here today too.
Yes, we got a great guest coming on the live stream.
Yep, Michael Trager. Michael Trager from TravelZork, which you can find at travelzork.com or at TravelZork. He's going to talk about ZorkFest, which is a big conference coming up November 1st through 3rd here in Vegas for APs. Yep. Basically, they talk about casino play, they talk about credit cards, they talk about frequent flyer miles. They're called points and miles.
Yep.
And he's going to tell you what that conference is going to be all about. It's going to be a good one.
Get ready to get zorked, people.
Absolutely. So first thing, we'll bring Michael on in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about a few things here that are happening. The big news right now is MGM Resorts International. That means MGM, Bellagio, Cosmo, cracking down on advantage players at
Park
the machines.
MGM, Mandalay Bay, a lot of these, yeah.
Yeah, basically they put out a memo that said anybody who's playing these advantage slot machines, all right, these are things like Ocean Magic, Scarab, Buffalo Ascension.
Yep.
All these things get to places, they're called variable state machines.
Yes.
And they get to situations where that variable state is positive for the player. So people who are taking advantage of this, shame on you for trying to win. You can't have any more points. They're supposedly canceling reservations for some of these people who had comped rooms. I don't know all of the details of that yet, but this is gonna be a tsunami of consequences one way or another. I mean,
right.
There's going to be problems with gaming control potentially. There's going to be angry customers. There's going to be backtracking maybe. I don't know. We have to wait and see what's going to happen here.
What do you think is causing this? Do you think someone's looking at the balance sheet and saying, oh, there's too many people not losing enough?
I don't think so. I think what's causing it, because here's the thing about these machines, it doesn't matter who wins the money.
Right.
If it's somebody who's smart or if it's somebody who hasn't got a clue. They make their money on the way up. They make their money as it gets to this variable state of advantage play. But they don't want the advantage players winning it because they tend to walk with the money. They're not going to put it back in.
Right.
And that's what they're worried about. And there's a second part of it, which is squarely on the players who are being piggish about it. They're just being piggish about it. They're hogging machines. They're doing things to get people out of situations that they want to play. And it's just, killing the golden goose like these guys and girls tend to do, unfortunately.
Taking advantage.
Taking advantage. And I think they've just had enough of it.
Okay.
So we got a book on it coming out. It's called AP Slots. Right now, it'll probably have a different name by the time it comes out. But there are literally dozens upon dozens of these kinds of machines.
Yeah, and I always think that that's one of the coolest things about going to the casino is that you can find little advantages if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what this book's going to be about. We'll see how much we'll see what the state of the situation is by the time we get to that thing being published.
And if other casino groups like Caesars are going to follow suit.
That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
So what do we got? We got any questions coming through?
We do.
Yeah, ask your questions.
We got a question right off the bat from Black Doctor, and it says, question: when playing bar video poker, how often do you need to play a hand in order for the drinks to keep coming? Assuming you're trying to play as little as possible. So this is someone who wants to get free drinks, but not hit the button so many times that they lose.
Yeah, talk about Zorkfest, right? That's the kind of stuff we talk about there.
Right.
And I mean, that's the sort of thing you want to do. You want to play as little as possible. Now, it's different. At some bars, I'll tell you what the great deflector is. At some bars, they'll only give you a beer for every 20 bucks you put into the machine.
I've heard this.
Whether
yeah.
you're winning or losing.
Yeah.
So if you want to make sure that you don't have any problems, stick 100 in there.
That's right.
And you can play slow as molasses probably, and they're still going to give you drinks.
Yes.
But you're expected to be playing what they say is a constant pace of $1.25 at least.
That's right. It's supposed to be a minimum of $1.
Yeah, $1 usually
Something,
they say,
yeah.
but $1.25 on a video poker machine with 5 coins. So what you do is you come in and you start playing. You play at a relatively good pace, and then you start slowing down. And you can have, if you're with a friend, you can have a little conversation. You can talk, and then you hit the machine and you play again, and then you just keep going. But the great heat deflector there is to put in more than 20 bucks to start. Now the fact is, if you put in 20 bucks and you hit a quad right off the bat, so all of a sudden you got 50 bucks in front of you, it's your money now. You don't need to put in another 20. If you're still playing, it's like you put in another 20, but they don't think that way.
Right.
So there's your answer. Put in 100 to start, or put in 40 or 60. You should be good. Start off at a relatively fast pace and then dial it down. And especially when the bartender comes around, don't wait and look, and every time he or she comes by, start playing. But when you see them starting to turn around, just make sure you're popping a machine and you're playing it a little bit there. And you will be way under the volume it would take for you to be above the expected value that would cost you for a drink, expected loss, that is.
Right. And another quick pro tip that I've experienced a lot here in Vegas is that there's a light on the back of the bar games. More often than not, you can put a little napkin back there, put your hand back there, and see if the light is green, then you're cleared for drinks. If the light is red, then you haven't played enough to make it go off.
We call that a pitch count. We call that being on a pitch count.
Okay.
And that's the way you do it. If you want to know, you can walk around and look at your machine, but the trick is, like you say, pro tip, take a napkin, stick it back there, and you can see what color the light is.
That's right. And even farther than that, there are some, you'll notice that there are some high and some low, and then some of the lower tops, the bartenders can't see whether it's red or green anyway. So if you're sitting at those, typically they'll just comp your drinks. I always say talk to the bartenders because some of them are more loose than others.
Be friendly, Yeah. There was one of the great poker players and gamblers, Lee Nelson, used to play poker. He's written a couple poker books for us, Kill Everyone, The Razor's Edge, and he used to play poker tournaments under the pseudonym Be Friendly. That was his name.
You got to be friendly.
Period friendly.
Yeah.
And that was his thing.
The other thing, just to that point also, is that we're talking specifically about bar gambling, but if you're at the casino and you're just sitting on the casino floor giving the slot machine some action, you should get some free drinks from the cocktail servers as well.
Absolutely, but typically at the bar is where the nuance comes in.
That's right.
What else? You see something there?
Oh, let's see. Oh, we got some answers to that question in the comments, so that's pretty cool.
Okay, good. That's always nice.
When you have another
reunion in December, when we have another reunion in December like you used to have. Robert Gilman asked this question. Robert, were you at those earlier ones? We did a couple. We did one at Harrah's. We did one at Boomtown, which is now Silverton.
Okay.
And those were LVA parties, man. I mean, those were like 3-day parties for LVA. Those were amazing, but they were so much work and so much trouble, and it just took so long to put together that the answer to that is probably never again.
Okay.
So we probably won't. It was fun when we did it. We were just getting started. I was a lot younger, had a lot more energy.
Yeah.
And right now I think about that and go, oh, no.
Well, I'll tell you what we do like. We like those blackjack tournaments, that weekly blackjack tournament at the Downtown Grand. If we could do like another weekly meetup or something at another casino, that would be fun.
Something, these meetups we can put together. I was going to say, Tanya could, help remembering those, but she was in like 4th grade back when we did that.
Here's an interesting one. Beans 241, Scarab, Buffalo, Ascension, Buffalo Link, Ocean Magic. Certain slots have progressive states that can be advantageous if the player is if a player unknowingly leaves machines.
They're coming to be known as variable state machines, meaning they're in different states of play. And most of those states are not profitable for you, but then they get to a point where you can find out. We are doing a book on it. It's a big book. There's dozens and dozens of these machines. Right now, a book that is in print is Gambling 102 3rd edition.
That's right.
Where there's a whole new chapter on variable state machines.
Yep.
So
Michael Shackelford.
Yeah, pick up Gambling 102 3rd edition, and you can read about. You'll see what we're talking about. It tells you the play points. Okay. All right. So let's get into one here. Real quick one. Contest Carnage.
Yes.
We got to talk about this real quick.
I saw someone talking about it here.
What's happened in Survivor?
Yeah.
It is. I wouldn't quite say unprecedented, but it's unbelievable what happened. The first 2 weeks, the biggest favorite lost both times.
Right.
First week was the Bengals, second was the Ravens. That had the effect of taking the starting number of 14,266 players down to 3,877 after only 2 weeks.
Wow.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a slaughter out there.
Yeah. They're saying it's like the beginning of Squid Game.
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a really good analogy. So bad it was that Circa came out with something really interesting they called the empathy package.
Okay.
And what it was 2 or 3 free room nights at Circa for anybody who was knocked out in the first 2 weeks. If you were knocked out completely, like if you had if you had 1 to 2 entries and they're both gone, you get 2 nights. If you had 3 or more and you're gone with all of them, now you can't have any lingering ones, but if you're completely out, you can get free nights at Circa up until the end of the year.
That sounds very sympathetic.
It's very cool. I think it's very cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Derek.
By the way, I still have 4 left.
Okay. So Anthony's still in it. He's still got 4 left. Me and my buddies, the 2 Daves, we are still in circa millions.
Philadelphia Eagles, all you Philly people out there, damn those Eagles! I would have had 6. I would have had 6. That was the creepiest ending to a game I've seen in a long time. I needed Eagles to win against the Falcons.
When I tip the cocktail waitress at roulette, how do they know if it's $1, $5, $25, etc.?
Well, if you're tipping them with roulette chips, if you're giving them regular casino chips or cash, they're going to obviously know what it is. Roulette chips don't have a denomination, but it's specified what your roulette chip is.
Yeah, I thought roulette chips were all.
Yeah, so when you give them one, they probably, if you're asking about what is the mode of conveying the information, I don't know. But they've probably got some way that the dealer informs them of what they've just been given.
Okay.
Or, I don't know. But that's it. Roulette chips, you tell them what you want your chip denom to be, and you get special chips.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to go back to one. We're going to hustle up because when we have Michael on, we got a lot to say with Michael. First of all, talking about Zorkfest, which is going to be pretty cool. But also, Michael, he's quite the bon vivant about Vegas.
Okay.
He's been staying at Wynn Encore. He's been staying at one of your favorite places, Resorts World.
Love it.
So we're going to have a lot to talk about. So let's jump into this one. This was from the comments.
Okay.
From our last, I don't think it was Beer Friday. No, it wasn't Beer Friday. I think it was just a regular show. Please say Kamala Harris's name right.
Right.
All right, we got a bunch of those because we were going Kamala and Kamala. We were going back and forth, Kamala.
I know how to say it. It came out a little awkward when I said it. Yeah.
But a bunch of people on there said, "Who cares?"
Yes.
And I agree. Who cares? What if we'd have said Donald Trump? I mean, would everybody get all mad? We didn't on purpose. We're not trying to besmirch anyone.
Right.
Right? And and I even said, I'm apolitical.
Right.
All right. So another comment says, Anthony says apolitical, AKA meaning he's a Trumper.
That's hilarious.
Where does that logic come from?
Yeah, I know. It's like jumping to conclusions.
Apolitical means I can
I'm
tell you,
apolitical.
I can tell you what it means, but
Yeah.
I said, let me look up a definition to read. Apoliticism is apathy toward all political affiliations. A person may be described as apolitical if they are uninterested or uninvolved in politics. Being apolitical can also refer to situations in which people take an unbiased position in regard to political matters.
That's it.
That's me.
Apolitical.
That's me.
Yeah.
I am
no
ap-
besmirchments.
I'm not a Kamala or a Kamala
Yeah.
or a Donald. I'm none of those things. I don't care. I care, but I can't do anything about it. So
Right.
I don't get caught up in it.
Right.
And I mean, we didn't mention this when we were talking about, I know where this came from. We were talking about how the odds were moving.
That's right.
During the debate.
Right.
Right? And I'm interested in the things that go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in a couple of bars afterwards, I asked the bartenders, did you show the debate? Because a whole bunch of people stayed home to watch the debate.
Mm-hmm.
So, there wasn't any sports on. And if you want your bar to stay busy, wouldn't you have shown the debate? And 9 out of 10 of them said absolutely not.
Oh, really?
No politics, no religion in the bar.
Okay.
That's what they say.
Okay.
Because people get too crazy and too wound up
It creates
about it.
problems.
Yeah.
Sure, I can see that, especially when you're drinking in a bar and people get really intense.
I thought that was really interesting because they were like vehemently, absolutely not.
Right.
Like, are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
We would not show that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm not drinking. I got to drink.
Cheers.
A little bit.
I'm good. I'm almost done
Okay.
with my first one. This is a great question. Comes from Doc Harris. He says, "Hey guys, set looks great. Thank you, Doc. Question: what are your favorite local casinos right now in Vegas?"
Favorite? Oh boy. I mean, that's so hard. Whenever people ask, why don't you start? Why don't you start? Because I know what your favorite local one is right now.
I love going to Resorts World and lately Fountain Blue. They're right by each other.
Those aren't local casinos. Those are big strip,
Oh.
big box strip casinos.
Oh, okay,
What
like a
is your-
locals jam. Okay, Eureka. Yeah,
I
You-
knew it was
now I
coming.
know what you're thinking. Yeah.
Tell them why. Tell them why you love Eureka.
Eureka's got a great bonus. They give you a weekly free play if you get if you play through, not lose, but if you play through 15,000 credits a month, they give you $100 in free play a week, and that keeps me coming there every week. Plus, Thursday through Sunday, they have a $6.50 steak and eggs breakfast till 11 a.m. That's not even a commercial. It's
excellent.
yeah.
That steak and eggs over the weekend is so good.
It is.
That restaurant, Fat Troy.
Yeah, Fat
right?
Troy.
It's called Fat Troy. The chef there is Sheridan Sue. I know Sheridan a little bit. I mean, I know him to say hello.
Uh-huh.
And this guy has been a James Beard Award nominee. He is terrific.
Yeah.
And his wife Jenny.
Yeah.
And they run this thing, and their food is fantastic. I think one of the best burgers in Vegas.
Well, yeah, definitely. The burgers and fries is great. Sometimes I get the burger in the salad, and I mean, they're just they're really friendly. They're really
cool.
nice.
They work with LVA, and the member rewards book has a 2-for-1 for Fat Troy.
Yep.
And so, I mean, just that Fat Troy dinner itself is worth going there for.
Yeah.
And it's down, not way down, but on, East Sahara, a little bit, about 3 miles east of the Strip.
Yeah,
like that.
it's not even. It's
2
not.
miles.
It's not even. It's not far from the Las Vegas Strip, not far from the Strat, not far from the Sahara.
And
it's
pretty
it's
good-
right there.
And pretty good video poker schedules.
Great video poker, free parking, and they have progressive at the bar,
It's a good place.
and they have a Keno progressive, which not everybody has.
As for me, a local casino, I have a hard time with it because it used to be all Station and Boyd. Now, I've made it clear many times, Station and Boyd aren't what they used to be. I don't like them. They're not LVA friendly. South Point is not LVA friendly, but it's a great casino. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go with South Point.
Okay.
Tuscany's good. Silver Sevens, I like these as local joints. These are all places that I kind of like to go in and have a beer
Yeah.
and whatever. But otherwise, I'm downtown.
Silver Sevens has a daily $5 free play that they give you.
Silver Sevens it's a good place. I mean, it's just
It's a good
they're
value.
They're going to be changing their name back to the Continental.
I
back to
heard
their
that.
Continental glory days.
I heard that.
So
They used to have a picture that said going to be the Continental, and then they took it down.
I wonder if they're going to bring back their $9.99 lobster tail.
Ooh.
When they had that, Tanya was in kindergarten.
All right. Well, the only place to get that, that cheap lobster tail now is at Tony Roma's, and
Is it like that?
it's like that big.
Is it like that?
Yeah, it's a.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. The other day, we're going to do this. We'll talk about this more on the regular show.
Oh.
But I went to the new Angie's Lobster.
Where's that?
That's way out on Blue Diamond Road.
Okay.
And they do $9.99 lobster sandwiches.
Okay,
What
wow.
do you call those? Lobster. What do you call those things?
Yeah, I don't know, but then the bread with
In the bread,
yeah.
the lobster thing.
Lobster roll.
Lobster rolls.
Yeah.
Lobster rolls. Pretty damn good for $9.99. Pretty damn good.
That's great.
A lot of people lined up. So, what else we got? Got another?
Lobster rolls. Used the coupon at Fat Choi's 2 weeks ago. Thanks was good. Was pretty good.
It was pretty good. You didn't eat the right thing. I think it's excellent.
What do you
really-
get at Fat Choi? Do you know what you?
I think the breakfast you just said.
Okay, the
is
steak
great.
and eggs breakfast and
Their
the
their
burger.
hamburger. They put an
Yeah.
egg on the hamburger.
Yeah.
And it's the burger's made from half regular hamburger meat and half what's the other great stuff they put in it? Sirloin, whatever they cut into it. It's just really great. So they put the egg on top and I guess it's done.
Yeah, they have an $11.99 steak and rice dish. That's just every day, not with the breakfast, and I get that all the time.
It's mostly it's Asian cuisine.
Yeah,
For the most part.
Right.
And Sheridan he's a good cook, man. That's why he has a
Absolutely.
restaurant.
all right.
422, you want to bring in Michael?
Do we have one more question before we bring in Michael?
F1 construction, how's it going?
Well, I saw it yesterday ramping up right in front of Ellis Island, and right on that street, there were a lot of people. There was something going on last night, and they had it all shut down, and they had people in the F1 building.
The
and
question
it was,
has the the Formula One construction started?
Oh, yeah.
Has the work started?
yeah.
I ran into it yesterday on the way back, on the
Yeah.
way home. I was coming from the east side back to across the strip, and I ran into it on Harmon, and I turned around. It was gross. I mean, it was gross. It was just everything was going into one spot. I turned around and went back to Trop and came up.
Right.
So here it comes.
It's starting, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's from now until November. It's gonna go. We got one more from our buddy Greg Smith, and he says today's rumor: deal in play for downtown Grand purchase. Any more info?
I haven't heard a word about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it either.
So, I mean, perhaps that may well be. That's, I guess, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it was one of the best casinos in town for their deals and stuff. Andrew Economan left. They pulled back on some things, but not on everything. So, it's not like they just took a torch to the place.
Right.
And I still like going down there. They still got the good $2 beer and hot dog, and they're still in the top 10 for their dollar blackjack. So who knows? A sale is probably not the greatest thing in the world, and maybe it's not the worst thing, but I haven't heard of it.
I recently went there, and I went to Freedom Beat, and I got, you play $25 through any game, and then you print out a coupon, and you get a $14.99 prime rib dinner.
It's good, isn't it?
Excellent.
I know.
It's really good.
It's actually it's 25 points, which is $2 a point on video poker.
Okay, so
you
it's
play
50
50
bucks.
through. You play
Okay.
50 through. That's nothing.
Yeah.
You play 50 through before you sneeze.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with Downtown Grand. Hopefully, Ellis Island, Emerald Island in Henderson and Rainbow Club got sold, and they're still terrific. So who knows? Maybe maybe usually a change in ownership is not a good thing, but we'll see. Maybe they'll be okay.
All right.
They think you should just buy it.
Yeah, I was reading it. He says,
I should buy it.
yeah,
I'll bring back Andrew Economan.
Yeah.
that's what they say. He says you should buy it, and
I'll have
Andrew
Economan. I'll have
Yeah.
Andrew Hunt.
Yeah.
I'll have everybody. We'll put out a cattle call for everyone named Andrew, and that's what we'll call. We'll rename the place
The Downtown
Andrew. And then we've only had one beer.
Oh, they wondered that too. They were in late. They want to know how many beers you've had.
Only one. I'm ready for my second.
Yeah, me too. How many beers have been drunk? Just one.
Only one. Only
Are
one.
you stacking your cups? You ready, Andrew?
Yes, I'm ready. I will pound.
Okay, so let's bring in our guest. Like I said, Michael Trager from Travel Zork.
All right, so Michael, why don't you
Michael?
take this seat? We'll get Michael in the middle.
I met Michael, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago, because he was an LVA member and doing his own thing with Travel Zork. And there we go.
Did we unmute Michael's?
Yep.
All set?
He's good to go.
Yeah, our feed's not working anymore, so we don't know what's going on here.
It froze.
But we're okay. And it turns out Michael was a pretty active LVA member, right?
I was.
With all this stuff, and then he started his own thing, Travel Zork, which really is more about travel than about casino, but it's very heavy on casino because Michael's a casino guy. He likes to go. It's a lot about points and miles, right? And getting the best deals in hotels and things like that. But
The hustle. It's all about the hustle.
you talk about it, and then we'll talk
It
about
is.
Travel
And,
Zork.
and honestly, so much of, and I was reminding you the other day, so much of the history goes back to the LVA boards. Some of my best friends to this day, actually, one of my first friends was texting me the other night about an advantage play opportunity that he had just found somewhere. One of my first friends, and it was, you had a subgroup which was East Coast LVA, with all the East Coasters
remember
at the
that.
time, and we used to meet in the Diamond Lounge. And honestly, it just connected me to an entire world. Once I started getting into gambling, and I seeked out LVA because I didn't know what I was doing, and then I made friends with people, and it was amazing. I mean, it was, and that's actually one of the things that I try to do with Zorkfest, is to bring those connections together. But my main angle on Zorkfest was to bring the miles and points people, the travel loyalty people, together with the casino loyalty people. Because originally I found so many people, like they could be the most granular casino loyalty people. They know all the pay tables on video poker, they can quote everything to you, but you say, hey, have you ever redeemed a flight? Oh no, that travel loyalty stuff is way too complicated.
And
then the miles and points people, you'd mention, well, do you understand how comps work? And do you understand how, to seed offers and to do, oh no, that casino loyalty stuff is too complicated. So you had two worlds here. You had the casino loyalty world and the travel loyalty world that were so into their own world, but that thought the other world was really complicated, which is sort of funny because it's really quite similar.
Well, it's the same mindset. I mean, it's advantage play all the way through with all disciplines. All right, so we're talking about 3 different things here. And we're going to, first of all, let me go back. Here's why we're talking about Zorkfest. Zorkfest is coming up. And I invited Michael. Michael was in town. We always have dinner when he has time.
I try my hard, and I always try to make it somewhere interesting.
Interesting.
Someone interesting to show up at the dinner. I surprise you with somebody.
Oh,
usually.
every time. We went to SAFTA 1964 at the Wynn.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But Michael, I said, he's going to be running this Zorkfest. This is like the 4th one?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's going to be November 1st through 3rd.
Right.
So it's coming up. It's, there's a fee for it. But I guess we've got a discount code that we're going to.
Yeah, we do have a discount code. I mean, we're past the early bird, but we still have a discount code for those that are, just for LVA. It's actually our only discount code. Except I had to give a relative discount code. That was it. But that's just to keep
we'll
family
get into
relations.
that. But I invited him on because I wanted people to understand that this is not a bullshit conference. This is a cool, fun conference where you get a lot of smart people in these 3 disciplines: casino, points, and miles, right? Credit cards and airfare. And I'm going to be. I've got 2 sessions, right? I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
I mean,
my main thing, we are not looking to turn you into an expert. We're not or turn you into an advantage player on anything. We're looking to bring you knowledge so that you can do things a little bit better. That might be with how you do your spend with your credit cards properly so you earn more points. That might be how you understand how to redeem your points. Like, many people think that the best way to redeem Delta miles is with Delta Sky Miles, but usually redeeming with Virgin points on Delta is better than with Delta Sky Miles. Makes no sense, but that's the way it is. That's one example, and these things change all the time. And the other really big thing is meeting that 1 or 2 people that you click with and that will help you in your casino comp journey, your travel journey. And that is huge because I hear that over and over again, that I organize great social events, and we do. We have lots of surprises. Actually, Jack Daniels is sponsoring Jack Daniels and Herradura.
Okay.
And they're providing a lot of surprises. Guess what? It's going to involve Jack Daniels and Herradura.
I like Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah, that's
Sure.
And the social. And honestly, these are the connections you make for life, and it could be the connections you make with advantage play opportunities in miles and points, and it can be the connections you make in advantage play opportunities in casinos, in status matching, in finding out what's going on, because it's that network that's going to make it really better. And also, it's just enjoyable. That network is just so enjoyable. Meeting people who like and obsess over what you obsess
The
over.
networking thing is amazing at this, where you literally meet people who they have like interests, and it's fantastic. And I mean, what I'm going to do, I mean, we're going to do the regular LVA thing.
Yeah.
They're going to have these what they call gambling labs, and I'm going to do the blackjack one, and I'm going to basically talk about how do you progress through the hierarchy of blackjack skill, and where do you start, where should you start, what book should you read, how far will basic strategy take you, how far, how hard is card counting, which book should you read, which count should you do, what can you expect. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of
And
fun.
then I came up with this lab idea, which is literally in parallel with everything else, sort of before the conference and also on the Friday night cocktail reception. Because so many people always came to me and said, I want to play craps, but I don't know how to play craps. So I said, okay, let's do that. And
You
I
should
said,
say good, don't.
yeah.
anyway,
No, I
okay,
said, no,
okay.
no, it's best game in casino. Come on, this is no question at all. Absolute moneymaker.
Did I just roll my eyes? Okay, all right.
And
It's a fun game.
And for
It's a-
$1,500, I'll give you a master class.
I got two crap players in my left. I got no chance. I got no
So
shot.
I said also I have to do blackjack because
Yeah.
people want to understand what's going on. So we have the guys from You Can Bet on That, Dr. Mike and Mark Duval. I don't think Dr. Mike's confirmed yet, and also Vegas Duffy of the Crap Vegas podcast.
Okay.
So they're going to be running that, and then also I have to do this plug because he always gives me shit that I don't plug him. And Adam Bauer, travel fanboy, will be emceeing that event, so he'll be there. He's great. He has a lot of humor and has been doing content and. You're going to be doing the blackjack. This is all on you, and this is, to integrate a little bit of the gaming. I mean, the other thing we get asked a lot about is video poker, but it's just really hard to pull a video poker machine up to a conference room. But it's so we're doing that. So we're doing the labs at the cocktail reception. Cocktail reception is our kickoff on Friday night, super fun. Then we roll into the conference on Saturday morning with breakfast and the labs. And that we make it sort of optional. So if you wanted to sleep in and just come at 9 o'clock in the morning for the conference, you could. Otherwise, you can get there early for the labs. And then we roll into the entire conference during the day. And then we end on Saturday night with what we call Podcasters After Dark.
Okay.
And we're going to have a podcast.
Is that the
panel.
porno one? The porno?
Yeah, it is the porno one. Just so I don't screw it up with podcast. Yeah, how did you know that? That's we've been.
Oh no,
so-
that was Podcasters Underground. I got it mixed up.
And
I'm sorry.
on that podcaster panel, we're going to have Vegas Duffy from Crap Vegas, Adam Bauer from, he's now goes by Cheapskate Vegas, Sonia G from It's Vegas Y'all. That's a very good new podcast, which
Okay.
is just Texans who love Vegas.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool.
And we're vegans who love Texas. I think Texas is fun.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say you were a vegan who loved Texas. I'm
No,
like,
not
that's
a
a little
vegan.
weird.
No, not a vegan. No.
Not a vegan.
I like
And
my Texas barbecue.
then we also have Sonia G from It's Vegas Y'all.
Okay.
And we have Karen from 360 Vegas.
Karen.
Karen, yeah. Yeah, Karen, I know. And we have Mark Duval and Dr. Mike from you. I know. Everything today, your apolitical is wonderful because you make any mistake on anything today and people jump
Oh, I know.
on you no matter how you. My biggest pronunciation problem, and I think is the stupidest name in the world, is Fontainebleau. Because really, it's not
Fontainebleau.
supposed to be. The French is like Fontainebleau.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It's like bleu. It's not really blue.
Or closer to blow. Fontainebleau.
Yeah, Fontainebleau.
Then
Right,
blue,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
That's not a good name for. Well, maybe it is a good name for marketing.
We just say Fountain Blue. It's the Fountain Blue.
You know what I do? I call it FB.
Okay.
That works too.
I just say,
That
I just
works
say,
too.
but I always think about like how you can name something, which is like people are going to screw up the pronunciation.
You're right about this, though. It's like people want to pick anything to knit on, right?
Yeah.
Anything they can nitpick on, they want to grab. And like, I just don't put up with it. I go, sorry. I mean, once I called the Williamsburg Bridge the Brooklyn Bridge, and they got all over my case.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go, my goodness, does it really matter? If you're going to get directions to Peter Luger Steakhouse, they're going to tell you to go over Williamsburg. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter. And it's not a statement. It's just not caring.
The world is
Yeah.
the world is very sensitive and very uptight. And what makes me sad sometimes is that people have lost the humor.
Yeah.
Because half the time when I make fun of something or I say something, I'm just being humorous, but you can't even be humorous anymore because people take you seriously. One of the things I was getting into, which is really interesting about Zorkfest, if you're a history buff, I say it's at the original MGM Grand, which means it's at Bally's. No, it's not at Bally's. It's at Horseshoe.
Horseshoe, yeah.
But
That's
the
right.
conference rooms we're using are the old VIP Sky conference rooms. So we have a conference space with beautiful views of Las
nice.
Vegas.
Wow,
and
that's
I
great.
always am trying to find venues. Last year in Tahoe, we used a star suite at Harrah's Tahoe. And that was a suite that was originally built for Sammy Davis Jr. by Bill Harrah. So I'm always trying to find interesting.
Was it way in the
ven-
back?
There's a whole.
Back then, didn't that what they used to do with Sammy?
But
They
that
used to
was
put
the
him way in
that
the
was
back.
that was the story, and one of the butlers told me there too. The story was that he couldn't stay anywhere in any of the hotels,
That's my
and
point.
Bill Harris said, "Screw that! I'm building you your own suite."
How cool is that?
He actually, and there's a picture of him sitting
Yeah.
in the window, Sammy Davis smoking his cigarette, and that. But that's what Bill Harris said. No, you're getting your own suite. Screw these guys. I'm making a suite for you, and that's
Wow.
going to be your suite at Harrah's Tahoe.
That's why I like talking about stuff like this, where like, if I
Good
say
story.
somebody, was it way in the back? They'll go, oh, what did you just say? No, that's the way it was, folks. That's the way it was, and that's how we get to, these good stories, these cool things that
Yeah,
are
and that was, that's part of like
Yeah.
bringing that history, bringing that history together. And hey, I'm at Resorts World now. I get giddy all the time because I feel like I'm at Stardust, even though I'm not.
Sure.
But I always, because this is my big thing lately, and I talk to people. When people go, I go, Resorts World is great. There's great dining. The casino floor is cool. It's got a good vibe. The pools are excellent.
Yeah.
The room product, even the Hilton room product. The Hilton room product is 400 square feet. The Conrad room product is over 500 square feet. For regular rooms, did you know the lowest rate that you can get at the Hilton is $79 plus
no way. Really?
midweek? That is their low. That's their lowest end. You can actually find those, but it's a great. It's a.
Wow.
And I always refer to it as, Stardust, and people say, oh, it's so far away, it's so far away. I said, you know what? That's because you didn't do Frontier, Stardust, Riviera. That was a great area town,
Yeah,
right?
it was.
You had Stardust, Riviera,
Yeah.
Frontier.
Silver Slipper Castaways.
Yeah,
we had
exactly. It wasn't like no man's
Munchkin
land.
next week. Munchkin
Yeah.
dealt at the Castaways.
That's right.
Wow.
We
right,
talked
right,
about that.
right there,
Yeah.
right where the Mirage ended.
So the location, and also what's cool is you can be in the entrance of Encore in 8 minutes. Like it's literally Encore's right across the street.
That's true. When you're
And
walking
think of-
from Resorts World to the Wynn, it's not that far.
yeah.
The Encore entrance is right there. I think Resorts World is a great property for people. I mean, whether we've got Travels or Travel, we sell travel, but setting all that aside, if you need to book online or you need just one night, the greatest suite spots are the Hilton and Resorts World, the Conrad midweek. And the Conrad actually has a suite, a one-bedroom suite that's close to 1,200 square feet and has 1.5 bathrooms, which will go as low as 250 plus midweek.
It's
A brand new. I mean, this is a good end. If you're a Hilton Honors member, listen up, and it's easy to match to Gold or Diamond. You get $50 a day at Doghouse, and you don't have to use it for breakfast. So your Hilton Honors benefit is $50, so you can use it on bourbon. You can use it on beer. You don't have to use it. or people who like bourbon and beer for breakfast, which is acceptable.
Doghouse is a restaurant bar.
Yeah.
So everyone
Yeah,
knows.
yeah.
So
But that is
everyone
so.
knows.
If you're a Hilton Honors member, you could use that. That stacks on there. Of course, there's still the resort fee. But another thing people don't always realize: if you redeem for points, and sometimes you get a room for about 50,000 points, you don't pay the resort fee on points rooms.
All right, so everybody's they're getting a
That's some
look
good
into-
education. That's
they're getting
good.
a look into Zorkfest.
Yeah.
This is what Zorkfest is all about. And I'm not
Yeah.
like, I'm not here shilling for Zorkfest. I don't have any financial interest in this ever. I'm a Zorkfest.
Right.
I have no interest in this.
Okay, but what's your pronoun? I mean, I need to know. No, don't start. Stop. Cut.
But I mean, this is
Advantage player.
He's AP.
Yeah,
Hey, that's what you should
I
say.
identify
What's your
as an
pronoun?
advantage player.
You should say you identify as an AP.
That's right. I identify as
Someone noticed your shirt.
I'm he AP.
I was going to ask him to talk about the shirt
Yeah.
before we got off.
Oh,
Okay,
and by
so
the way,
someone-
when you see questions, anybody wants to ask,
funny.
just jump in, Tanya. You know.
They're
But
just
yeah, tell them
listening.
about the
So
shirt.
this is, if anyone, and as far as I know, it's a true story by Rosenthal, but it's in the movie Casino, and he was there with the CEO of Argent.
Yeah.
Is that what was it?
Oh, yeah, it was
Argent?
Glick.
It was Glick. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was with Glick in a restaurant, and he was, and they both got a blueberry muffin. And they open their blueberry muffin, and Rosenthal opens his, and only has a few blueberries. And Glick opens his, and it's blueberries forever,
Yeah.
you know, all over. And he looks at it and goes, "Ah." Rosenthal goes, "I have to do everything here. I have to do everything at this place myself." And he runs into the kitchen. He wants to see the head baker, and he says, "Look at this. Look at this." And the baker's like, "What?" And he goes, "This has 3 blueberries. This is all full of blueberries. From now on, I want an equal number of blueberries in every blueberry muffin."
You did that better than De Niro.
And the chef looks at him and goes, "Sir, that's going to take a very long time."
Yes. Yeah.
But it's
Well, you know what? It's amazing. You must have loved the Stardust because
It was a great scene.
when I'm in Resorts World, I never think of the Stardust ever.
Yeah.
Never ever.
No?
Nope.
Why?
Well, because Stardust is gone.
okay. Well, okay, yes.
Yeah.
I just don't think about it.
You know what? My favorite. I learned to really play baccarat there. That master class is only $2,500. But someone's gonna believe me. But I played there, and the pit boss there. One of the pit bosses was Shirley, originally from Kentucky, and she was the first female baccarat dealer in Las Vegas, trained by Rosenthal.
Oh, wow.
Because up until that point, in the 1970s, there had never been, and she wore a tuxedo like all the other baccarat, but there had never been a female baccarat dealer before. And the stories she used to tell me, it was the best education.
Wow.
And they had, I used to play there, $25, wasn't just a squeeze game, it was a big bac game where we passed the shoe around the table. And you could play for cash. You could still play for cash, but she was so much fun. But I used to say to her, "What was it really like working for Rosenthal?" And she said, "You know what? He was okay to work for, but we got fired and rehired a lot." You know, he would go, something would go wrong, and
He
he
was
would.
combustible.
Everyone's fired tonight. Everyone here, get out of here. You're not working here anymore. And then the next day they're hired back.
Wow.
Well, you know, the baccarat scenario, you know, was all men except for the women who were shills.
Yeah.
They were famous. Beautiful women wearing gowns, shilling the baccarat games. By shill, that means you sit there to start a game, so other people will come up. And we had one. You know, that's what Brenda did.
That's what I was gonna say. Wasn't Brenda one?
Yeah, we had a woman named Brenda working here who was a baccarat shill, I believe at the Sands. Was
Right.
it at the Sands?
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was a beautiful woman, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not saying Brenda did it, but there was a lot of side business going on there too. But you know, it was that's what the women were doing in baccarat. So to be a dealer, because there's always the macho guys, you know,
Yeah.
it was like Francisco and Antonio and you
Yeah.
know all this.
And remember,
They
you
got
had the
no
pit boss
Americans.
up on a ladder back then.
Oh, they were sat in a big king seat.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
would be in like the king seat, looking down and everything like that. It was like,
Wow.
that was what they called Big Bach.
Yeah.
That was like amazing. And then Big Bach went away, and they had Mini Bach, and now they have Midi Bach. And now it's like, you know, that is just a different time.
Well, what was nice there is you only had, you know, banker, player, tie. That was it. There was no tiger. There was no dragon.
Oh, now there's so much.
Yeah,
side
and
betting,
what was also very funny then, the first time. So Big Bach was in Atlantic City till 2017. Borgata was the last one to still have Big Bach, and they got rid of it in 2017. But right before that, Bally's Atlantic City still had Big Bach. But knowing Caesars Corp with their mentality, it was the first Big Bach table that ever had a dragon bonus.
Oh,
at least as I ever saw. I was
course.
laughing. I'm like,
So they
you
could
put
dig a little more
yeah,
out,
you could
yeah.
dig. I was like,
What's
really?
the dragon bonus?
It's
I
just
forget.
it's a side bet with a bigger vig.
Yeah.
You know, so
Oh,
they could
right.
they could dig out more money from the customer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Caesars they weren't happy enough with their 1.06%. They weren't happy
No,
with that.
no. They had a funny. It was just very funny seeing
Because
that.
I see in Bach now, I see a lot of side betting. I see banker win by 6 is a side bet. and
Yeah, well, the
there's,
dragon is like a differential, and
Okay.
if the differential is by 9, I mean, really, I'm not looking at the chart. It's supposed to be 30 to 1. It originally started as 45 to 1. It's like the all tall small that started at 175 to 1, and then went to 150, then went to 150 to 1.
That's at 156 right now.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
that all the
yeah.
time.
There's Mr. All Tall Small right there.
Hey, best story. Truthful story. Friend came up, and I'm so glad someone witnessed it. We
Yeah.
opened a table at Encore, on Encore side. By the way, great pro tip. Win is honestly continuously doing $15 dice games in the morning on the Encore side,
Okay.
and $15
For win, that's cheap.
$15 dice at Win is really great. But I walked up, a friend said he wanted to play. I hadn't played yet. I was here a few days, I was doing work on Saturday, and we literally walked up to a $15 table. I bought in, he bought in, I rolled right out of the gate. I rolled lots of numbers, but it all tall small. Boom. I had never done that before
Wow.
in my entire life.
Oh, that's great.
He did, and then he ran, and then he rolled and rolled it all tall small.
No way. And what did the all pay?
I'm
Do you remember? Was it 150?
I'm pretty sure
To
it's
one?
I'm pretty sure it's 150 at Win.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're cheating you on it, but I'm not gonna.
All right, here's a few. Lynn from New Jersey. Hiya, Michael.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I know Lynn. Actually, I know exactly who she is. She's
Bruce-
awesome.
Bruce
I
was-
met her through LVA.
Brute Force Poker. Adult beverage in my left hand. This live stream, oops, in my right hand. All right, that's good. Well, I'm glad that's what it is, in your right hand. Let's see. Great having Mr. Trager on today from Joseph Freds.
Frida, yeah, I know
Frida,
him.
Frida.
Yeah.
Let's see. Robert L. Tell Andrew is behind one drink from Anthony.
That's true. I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up. I love when they count because sometimes I pound and then sometimes
You know what? I
I'm
give all
slow.
credit to this shirt. The place I got this shirt from, I can't remember the name of the company, but Scott of Vital Vegas turned me on to this company that does these shirts.
yeah?
Yeah. So Scott, I give
We like
Scott.
Scott.
Scott gets all the credit for me. Whatever that, I'll get the link. I'll post the link in the comments later. But it's all Scott from Vital Vegas. He turned me on to this company. with
Definite
these
shout
shirts.
out to Vital Vegas.
Yeah.
Man, Scott does good stuff. Scott has his detractors too. He's like, he must. Kamala and Donald.
Right.
Harris,
Yeah, Harris and
right?
Trump.
Yeah.
So right now Harris is a favorite.
There's no sound for a second, and now the video's out.
Uh-oh.
Andrew, someone called you.
Oh no.
Now there's, yeah.
Is it the? We got to put it in the D&D.
Andrew.
No, now it's back.
Is it
Wait,
back? Okay.
Is it back?
Hold on.
Audio is back. Waiting for the video.
Okay, we lost some audio.
Yeah.
We can't. The live chats are very dangerous. It's like having
Okay,
it's
it's
like having
back.
a pager in
Audio is
Lebanon.
back.
Okay.
It's not good either. I should have done that.
But I did notice someone was calling you.
I should have
Oh
done that.
no.
What?
I said it's like having a pager in Lebanon. I know it's all being heard. It's like again, like I say, I'm
Yeah.
just
See, it's live. It's going.
I have no
It's
agenda.
just we're not.
How dare you? It's live.
Close it. Because you're closing all of
Should
it.
see me in the bar.
There we
There.
go. Okay. Video back up.
Okay, we should
Are
be
we
back.
I believe we're back.
Yeah. Now everyone's getting dizzy.
All right. Well.
You're back.
There's always a little bit of there's a little drama always in the live. Make sure no one can call you, Andrew.
There we go.
There you go.
Call. I better. Well, let's gotta get lucky.
Whoa! Look at that! Whoa!
Right?
Oh, that was him adjusting it.
Okay, well, someone gave us $10 for it, so we're good.
We'll put that towards the
Look at
new
that.
equipment.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, you handle that. You know how to do. You know how to like do these call outs, man. These are great.
All right.
People do that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's
Oh,
not-
that's so
Someone
nice.
said too many beers. That's it. Blame it on the beer. Definitely blame it. It's all the beer.
do the shout out.
All right, shout out to Dave Frizzell. Thank you for the $10. What is this called? A super chat.
Super chat.
And he says, "Hi guys, love the LVA. Question for the three of you: where is the best place to play free bet blackjack with the gold coin bonus? I know the odds are bad, but the payout is worth it."
Oh man, I'm telling you, take your $10 back because I can't answer that. I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, I know what free bet is. I don't follow free bet because I don't know how many people play that game or whatever. So I don't know, and I know there's variations in the pay tables and everything else. I will do some cursory looking into it, but I don't know the answer to that question. All right, so that's one thing you got to do. When you're supposed to be an expert on something you don't know,
Yeah.
just go, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's advice to those political people. When you don't know, just go, I don't know.
I don't know.
I hire people
Or
that
change
do
the
that.
subject.
Yeah.
You should just change it to like Spanish 21. You know, that would be a politician.
Oh, yeah, that works. That works. Too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the only info I have to add to that is that free bet blackjack is, to me, I don't know a lot about the math behind it, but I know it's a lot of fun.
It's fun as heck. I mean, it is the perfect variation on a game.
It's so
Where
much fun. Yeah.
It beats the player. I mean, this is a real good example early on when they came with double exposure, where you could see both cards.
Uh-huh.
And people were like, I can see both cards, man. I can play blackjack. I can do that.
Yeah.
But the rules were so skewed that you were getting crushed on double exposure unless you knew what you were doing.
Right.
And, you know, free bet's an example of that.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
free bet-
blackjack switch is an example of that.
Yeah.
If you know how to play them right, they're not bad.
In free bet, the dealer does not bust on 22.
Free bet. Yeah, free bet is a whole. Yeah, it's a different.
It's a
scene.
different, yeah.
You know, there was a great song about free bet by Leonard Skinner,
Yeah.
or something like that.
What would you say?
Or is that
is
Free Bird?
What is your
Yeah.
favorite carnival game? Like if you had a like
Oh,
what?
3-card poker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 3-card poker because I got a straight flush and I won big at Downtown Grand in 3-card poker.
Okay.
So that's my favorite carnival game.
Yeah, I don't play many carny games. There are beatable carny games. I mean, you know, there are certain beatable carny games. The problem with carny games, I mean, this is straight from James Grosjean and his book, The Ultimate Report, is you can play carny games at 2 and 3%. Games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Mississippi Stud, but the public is, this is an example to what I was just saying, the public is playing these games at 20% plus negative.
Yikes.
Because they're playing wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why Grosjean wrote the book, The Ultimate Report, because he hates casinos and he couldn't stand that the public was playing so poorly. So he wrote this book to say, look, just learn these few rules, and instead of losing 20%, you're going to be losing about 4.5%. Learn all of these rules, and you're going to be losing about 2.25%, you know, that sort of thing.
But in the realm today of, you know, the slot world, you know, even just losing 4% is okay.
It
It's a
is.
place with good drink service and other stuff.
Well, especially on a table game, which is slow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so, and also your rating, your Theo, you're probably getting more Theo. You're probably definitely getting Theo that's close, you think you're getting like what Theo do you think they're giving you on those games? Do you think they're giving you a Theo that's closer to 2% or closer to 10% or rated?
No, they're giving you a much higher Theo, and by Theo we're talking about what they're going to give you for comps. And I was saving this for the end. This is like a comp master. I mean, he really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had several conversations with Michael about, I say you play these games that are negative expectation, like Baccarat and Craps and whatever, some of these carny games. And he's like, yeah, the back end on this stuff can be tremendous. You know, the book Comp City that we did with Max Rubin, he's taken these
It all
techniques to
works.
another, like a new level. And so just
Well, not as much,
not
anymore, just because I'm not in casinos as much. But the thing to remember, and this is like I was saying before, to be a little bit better, like just the asking what your table rating is when you leave a table, and I've talked about this so much, and so many people have thanked me for it. I'm like, if you're tipping the dealers, especially craps, where the variability of what you're betting at a $25 table, I mean, you could be you could be going from $30 to $500, and you're all over the place.
Sure.
And almost every time, if you're tipping the dealers, you're a nice person and doing it, you will get a higher rating. And when you color up and say, hey, Bob, I was just wondering, what do you have me at? Half the time they say to me, what do you want? Half the time they say, what do you want? The other half they say, I got you at this, and I say, well, how about this? My other favorite line to say when I color up, I'll say, like, I want a little more than I deserve, and everyone laughs.
That's a good line.
But honestly, you know, I had crap sessions over the weekend where, I mean, I should have been rated at 200 or 250. They gave me a $600 rating. I mean, I should have been rated. I mean, and everything is within, you know, it's within a margin of error, and you can't be greedy, and you can't argue about it. But you have to, but you know what, just asking shows you're looking at it. And quite honestly, somebody can make a mistake. You know, different fit bosses, they might not have it in right, and they might say, yeah, we should give you a little bit more. You know, and I've had dealers come to and they'll say, yeah, take care of Mike. You know, I mean, because the dealers know your tip. I mean, I put the dealers, when I do the all tall small, I do 5-5-5, 2-1-2. It's my favorite thing. My favorite bet for the dealers, 2-1-2.
So that's a $5 bet for the dealers.
It's a $5 bet for the dealers, but you know what? My whole philosophy is bigger bankroll, fewer sessions, and I like to do that. I will say, I've said this to Josh at Crap Vegas, I hate the all tall small. I think it's horrible. I wish they never created it because it sucks me in. Because I either have to play it every time.
I do too.
I either have to play it every time because you can't guess it. I mean, you'd go crazy if you guess it, right? And then you're going to kick yourself and go absolutely mad. Well, that's what I mean. So you have to play it every time. So I try to avoid that.
Well, you got to hit a 2, and you got to hit a 12, and you got to hit a 3 and an 11. I mean, it's like, it's tough.
Or you could do it my way and never play that.
Just never do it once, yeah.
I am the like boringest gambler of all time, and I've got these two live ones right here.
Well, you know what happened at Wynn the other day at Baccarat? They have Tiger Baccarat. That's just in the last 2 months, and I hate this stupid Tiger bet. I really hate. Like I really don't like this Tiger bet. And guys come up to the table, and this Tiger bet, because the big Tiger is 50-1, and I saw some guys where they would come in and out while I was playing, and they put $500 on a 50-1 bet. I think it's got like close to a 20% house edge or 15%. I mean, and I feel I just get sick watching it. And I never bet the Tiger, like once or twice, but he left and I was down. I'm like, okay, I'm almost done with this. And I said, you know what, I'm going to just throw up a couple of these bets. I threw up these Tigers, and I put a $5 Tiger and other stuff. I hit the 50-1.
Oh, nice.
Right after he left, and he was betting it for 500. I said, okay, I'm even getting a little sick over that. But it's just, you know, and what the dealer said to me, she says, you know what it is, Michael? They hit it once. And they think it's going to, like lightning struck once. They hit this Tiger bonus for 50-1 or the one that's 20-1, and they hit it once for $500, and they think, that's a big payday.
Well, we talked about that in the last show, about is it good to get lucky right off the bat?
Yeah.
No, it's probably not. You know what I mean? Because you think it's going to happen again and again and again. What they used to call Pharaoh. Pharaoh used to be called what? Ride the Tiger or Fade the Tiger or Fight the Tiger or something. We'll take that up in the next show. When Pharaoh, which was a game that was huge, then went away. They used to call it something the Tiger. Somebody will know. Somebody will know. I think it's called Riding the Tiger.
The bets are brilliant, though, for the casino. They took a game like Baccarat, that the casino, you know, with a little bit over 1%, what is 1.2, 1.3, you know, the blend of 1% something, and they created these bets. Well, the tie bet was never good, but people didn't bet the tie bet like they bet these bonus
Well, in
bets.
the old days, the tie bet paid a little bit better, and you could count the tie bet in Baccarat.
Yeah,
But that's long gone.
It only pays 8-1, I think, a tie bet.
Paid 9-1.
Something like that.
Something like. But anyway, okay, we're almost done. Real quick, you said you went to 666. The opening of
4 6s, not 666. It's not the Devil's Steakhouse.
That's right. That's right. 4 6s. Do they call it 4 6s or do they call it 6666?
No, they call it.
This is at Wynn, the new steakhouse?
It's called 4 6s Ranch.
Okay.
So they have a big ranch in Texas, and it's them. It's Taylor Sheridan's ranch, and you know he does a bunch. He has that show Yellowstone and all of this. And this
Taylor
is
Swift's brother. No, never. Okay. All right. This
And
is the beers. This is beer.
What's very impressive about the steakhouse is this is in the tableau space. And basically, they transform the Tableau space, which is a breakfast and brunch restaurant in Wind Tower Suites, into this ranch Texan steakhouse. And they do a beautiful job transforming it. You could barely tell it's Tableau. And that's really, really cool. So Tableau is still open. I want to make it clear.
Yeah.
Tableau is still open. What's interesting is people say, oh, why do they do these pop-ups? Well, they do these pop-ups because they're cool. But as you know, Lakeside is currently closed and being renovated.
That's right.
So guess who all the employees are at Four Sixes? Lakeside. Now, Wynn did this also with Mizumi. So when Mizumi was being renovated, they did that other pop-up in Jardin. The Asian pop-up, the name.
Yeah,
So it's a super smart thing that Wynn does because it keeps their employees working, so they don't have to furlough them or move them to other restaurants. So that means that this is not like a normal opening of a pop-up. You've got the guys from Lakeside and the waiters and the staff at Lakeside and SW. I mean, they're some of the best in Vegas. So even though I was there opening night, service was spectacular. I had it was late, so we shared a bunch of things. We got their ribeye and we got their burger, to share for the table. And then a bunch of the gals got French onion soup, which has...
Onions.
No, it does. I was about to say it
Frenchman.
has brisket, but it doesn't. It doesn't have pulled pork. It has something else. It just left me, but it's really good. It's got meat in it. It is French onion soup. It doesn't have brisket.
Try to.
It's no. But it's in
Prime rib.
The French onion soup. I got the oysters Rockefeller, but this.
Popcorn.
But this. We got an 18 ounce. We got an 18 ounce.
Gummy bears.
Oh my God. We got an 18 ounce. We got an 18 ounce ribeye with their spice rub. And one of the gals I was with said she thought it was one of the best ribeyes she has ever had. And all of this is from his ranch. And then they have the super high roller. They have a $999 steak.
No, thank you. No.
Wow.
Which is a Wagyu.
Not $9.99.
No, I know. Well, because I'm just hearing about Poppy steak at Fontainebleau that's got the $1,000 steak.
Yeah,
You
someone
got
came to
this-
me and said it's
you
a
know.
$1,000 steak. I said it's not. It's $999. But that steak is a Wagyu, which is from a specific ranch. And so that no other restaurant in Las Vegas can have that Wagyu. Wynn bought into that ranch.
Dumbass ranch.
You bought into that ranch. They also have for dessert mud pie. And that mud
like
pie, the dessert department at Wynn, because I went to a dessert masterclass, they had to go through 10 renditions to please Taylor Sheridan for that. So it is.
Did it pause?
No?
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought it paused.
So what I would say, one thing you should be aware of, which is really interesting from a technical perspective, I said to the waiters, how did this go on the first night? And it was late. And they said everything went really well with service. But remember, Tableau's a breakfast and brunch restaurant. Restaurants like Lakeside and SW have those big-ass broilers. Like they're broiling steak. They don't have broilers, or they have very few broilers. So a lot of it is a very good pan fry technique and then finishing in the oven. But if you are a steak
Interesting.
geek, a lot of steak things, they'll talk about those broilers that are like 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit and stuff like that. But I think it's a great space. The employees are great. And that spice rub and that ribeye, it was good. I'm not the biggest steak person in the world, but I would definitely give it a thumbs up. And also that ribeye was very reasonably priced. That 18-ounce ribeye I think was like $90 it was for the place it was great. So I would highly recommend it.
I would like that the $999 one that has a $500 bill tucked underneath it. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. Okay, so, all right. So,
You're caught up on that one, right? Hey, it's not 1,000.
right, I know. That's what a deal. All right, so Michael, give us real quick. We're going to put it in. We got to finish now. We're done. We're at the end of the time. Are we out of beer? I
We
think
are.
Yeah, we're out of beer.
Did the keg go out?
Yep.
I knew it. I told you it was close. How much of a feel do I have for that? I knew it was close. All right, tell them. Let's be honest about the price and what their deal is for the show. I mean, honestly, I recommend. You've heard a lot of what's going to go on there. I think Zorkfest is going to be great. What is the price? $288?
Or no, the price is $388 because the
$388.
early bird is done. That was the early bird price, which we
Okay.
ran for 4 months.
Okay.
So that was, And you wrote about the early bird in the LVA newsletter.
Yes.
So everybody had their chance. But the price now is $388. But I created a $50 discount code. And that includes the cocktail reception, includes Podcasters After Dark. By the way, our cocktail reception is open bar for an hour. So if you're an Advantage player, you should be able. And by the way, our open bar is a premium bar.
All right.
So we don't mess
drinkers.
around.
That's
we have
right.
hors d'oeuvres. We have
Belvedere
really nice
vodka.
food.
Right.
I'm not supposed to say this, but our sponsor is doing a really cool what we call activation. And I'm not going to guarantee it 100%, but I'm going to make it about 98% that everybody is going to get. One of the special gifts you're going to get is your face on a bottle of Gentleman Jack.
Are they bash it?
Yeah, yeah, that's
not good.
Yeah.
So you're also gonna get a light breakfast before the conference, and we also have afternoon snacks and more drinks at Podcasters After Dark. We've set it up so that everything is on Saturday. You don't have to go to everything, except the cocktail reception on Friday. You don't have to go to everything, but it is a really full day. We did that on purpose because then after the cocktail reception on Friday, you could go to dinner, you could go to a show, and on Saturday, if you don't want to come to the podcaster event, you have a little bit of space.
Cool.
And that's good. On Sunday, we have group gambling. We have a private baccarat table and craps table. At this point, it's just viewing because we filled them up really quickly. And we also on Sunday have an extra additional cost masterclass. And that's above and beyond. And that's a very small group that's going to be between 30 and 50 people, which is it could be for beginners, it could be for advanced, but it's going to be a very intense masterclass of like 6 or 7 hours of small group miles and points learning. And that doesn't really relate to a lot of people, but some people do like that. So we separated that out because really we wanted people to have their Sunday free to gamble and enjoy Vegas. Because part of what we do is we want it to be kicked up social, but we want people to have their Vegas weekend. I don't have people in conference rooms all weekend in Vegas. That's horrible. That's not being in Vegas. And all of that, if you go to zorkfest.com, that's ZORKFEST.com, everything's up, even the schedule. At the top of the webpage, there are buttons to push to bring you to the schedule and bring you to the add-ons. And one final add-on on Friday, and I don't emphasize it much, is we have a very, very special dinner on Friday night after the cocktail reception with transportation, which is going to be in the chairman of the board room at Sinatra at Encore Las Vegas. Chef Theo there is curating the dinner. Everyone will get to meet him.
Great restaurant.
Yeah, Chef Theo actually cooked for Sinatra.
Yeah.
And one of the tracks is going to be an actual meal that Sinatra himself would have eaten. And then the other one will have other entrees. So you'll choose which one you want.
Wow.
And we've got a barrel master from Jack Daniels who's going to be at dinner. And we're going to do flights of Jack Daniels. And he's going to talk about Jack Daniels, the history of Jack Daniels, and how it relates to Frank Sinatra. Because one of Frank Sinatra's favorite drinks was Jack Daniels. So this is expensive. It's at Wynn. It has alcohol and all, transportation. So I don't really emphasize, and that's why we made it an add-on.
But the show itself, with most of the meat, is going to be $388 minus 50, right?
Right,
So I think
and it's
that's
gonna cocktail reception on
it is.
Friday. What?
I said
It's
I think
$338.
it's $338.
That is $338.
Look,
Yeah.
if you're going to be in Vegas, this is going to be a cool thing. You're going to meet a lot of people. I'm going to be here. Some of our girls, our people here are going to be there.
Miles
I've
and
done
points people like Gary Leff is View from the Wing, top miles and points blogger in the world. Just to have access, just to hear this guy speak his ideas and things. And one of our focuses is, if you had to think about like the 5 things in miles and points and credit cards that you should be focusing on for 2025, it's like the cheat sheets. It's like too long didn't read. This is what you need to focus on. Once again, we're not looking to turn everyone into an AP. We're just looking for you to get some nuggets and also meet friends and other people, because that's where you find the real plays, is
Right.
by doing.
Okay, I think we got to wrap it up. I'm sorry we missed some of the questions because we were just talking. I mean, you want to skim through there real quick? Is there a fast one we can do? Bang, bang.
Here's a quick one. What do you think of bubble craps? I like it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Bubble craps is cool, but it's still negative expectation, we think.
Yes,
I
we think.
Andrew
So
thinks
why do you
not, but
call
I
it
think
travel
yes.
Zork? That's easy.
What's the question?
Why do you call it Travel Zork?
Oh, why do you call it
Ooh,
Travel Zork?
yes, please.
Because there was a game by Electronic Arts in the 1980s, which was a text-based sort of AI type game called Zork by Electronic Arts.
Okay.
And I always thought Zork was the ultimate adventure, so I took the word Zork and I combined it with travel.
Nice.
And that was it. But it's what I made my own word, Travel Zork, because I don't want to be sued by Electronic Arts.
Very cool.
But I've now had the name for long enough. But if you look in the 80s, if you were, I ran an Atari computer club in the 1980s and all that kind of stuff. It was a text-based adventure game, and many people of my generation will remember it.
Isn't that cool how we get our names? Like, our publishing company is mine is Huntington Press.
Right.
And the reason is because I was sitting on Huntington Beach when I decided to leave California and come to Vegas.
That's right.
So I named it
Huntington Press.
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean,
awesome.
it's just interesting how people pick it. Tanya, you see anything there we need?
I just want to mention in the live chat, LVA put a code, or they put the code with the link if you want to go to Travel Zork Fest
Yeah.
$50 discount.
with the discount. So it's
Yeah.
in there.
I'm just saying this.
And if you have any problem with discounts or anything on the website, just yell at Tanya. Don't contact me. Just contact Tanya.
and I'm just going to, again, I'm going to plug it again because I've seen this and I've seen how much fun it is.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a valuable thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we see some of our people there.
Okay, yeah,
That'd be great.
hopefully. And then that's the thing. It's a social thing. You make some new friends.
Yep.
Talk about some advantage plays. Quick one from Christina saying that the new Bubble Craps has a super fun side bet, which is the all tall small.
Oh, no.
They have a side
no.
bet of all tall small.
Oh, no.
And yes, Christina and I have been going nuts on the all tall small because it pays $156
Well, you know what? We
to 1.
really need to become better friends here. And I also know you wear Jordans.
Yeah.
And we're like
I
the
know,
Jordans.
I know. I
We're,
see
we're
you
the
under the
Jordans
table.
club. So,
I
I mean,
know.
like, this is like a match made, dice table. I used to play a lot in Atlantic City. And the one thing that gets noticed when you play in Atlantic City are your Jordans. What?
Nothing.
He's on
All
the
right.
Jordan Club.
So we'll go shoot some dice.
Yes.
We'll do the all tall small.
We do coffee dice at Zorkfest on Sunday morning.
So what's
So
that
coffee
like,
dice is once you get over to a certain age, we go to bed early and we wake up at 6 in the morning, we get our coffee and we go play dice. I created the term.
Okay.
Coffee dice.
Okay.
It's the best ever.
All right.
You could have bourbon with it too.
Well,
Or tequila.
I would say that putting Jameson in a cup of black coffee is a great idea.
There you go.
But if you're sponsored by Jack Daniels,
Well, it's
the
all
hell with
this
it.
weekend is all Jack Daniels.
All right, put some
Well,
Jack
and
Daniels
Herradura.
in the coffee.
Herradura works well too.
I don't know Herradura. To be honest with
Tequila,
you, I don't.
it's
I don't
great. It's a
know
great tequila.
Is it really?
And it has their symbol is the horseshoe,
Is
and
that-
we're at horseshoe.
Is that like Herradura the Explorer?
No, that's Dora.
Oh, okay.
Herradura the Explorer.
Explorer.
I'm so
That's-
out of this club. It's unbelievable.
So,
All right, so I want to say one thing. We're gonna cut it off. Before we did this, we did shoot with Richard Munchkin,
right.
and that's going to air next week. You got to watch that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hell of an interview.
Well, Richard
With
Munchkin
Richard.
has a lot of information, a lot of insight. He's got a great podcast, Gambling with an Edge, that you can see at LasVegasAdvisor.com. You can consume that podcast there.
So yeah, look for it next week. I'm going to be working on Las Vegas Advisor newsletter, so that's why we shoot it in advance. And if you're going to be in town, do Zorkfest, man. It's going to be a good deal.
Yeah, and if you're going to be in town, as you know, come to LVA HQ. Come to the headquarters and pick up some books.
Talk to Tanya.
Yeah. Come say hi to Tanya.
And also follow Travel Zork on social media and subscribe on YouTube. I have to say that once.
Look at him heist us.
I have to say it once. I have to say it once.
Talk about it. You have a channel, right?
Yeah, and actually you'll see here, it's actually produced by my friend Michael Movestro.
Okay.
He made this, you'll have a devil of a good time at 666 Ranch. But Michael does a great job with our editing, and we have our podcast, which is twice a week, which is called the Yo 11 Podcast. Most people, it's Zorkcast, the Yo 11 Podcast. Most people listen on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, but we do drop it on YouTube twice a week. We do the gambling, we do the Vegas, but we also do a lot of like luxury travel. So I'm all over the place on that kind of stuff. But we actually just dropped some great content on Resorts World this week, including room service. I think my claim to fame is going to be bougie room service videos.
right.
Okay, well that's good. That's a niche. We should probably talk about one of your bougie experiences. on our show.
I would love
Let
that.
people know. All right. I think
Shut it
that's
down,
it.
Andrew.
We'll shut it down. That's it for today.
Thank you, and thank you for having
We'll
me.
see you next week. And then we'll see you when you least expect it. And check out Travelzork.
Yeah.
Put some bourbon in your coffee and play some craps.
See ya.
There you go. And hit the all tall small.